Istanbul is a city of hope, desire, and dreams. This city is the sweetheart of past rulers of empires, poets, and melancholics. There are many stories in history that transcend historical periods and leave a lasting impression on people's collective psyche. This one, the conquest of Istanbul, occurs in the mid-15th century. This historical occurrence, which culminated in the Ottoman Turks' conquest of Constantinople in 1453, is remembered as a turning point that impacted subsequent centuries. This topic was chosen because of its intrinsic importance, a confluence of strategic, cultural, and political forces that altered the path of civilizations. Historically known as Byzantium and Constantinople, Istanbul stood in for the collision of empires and the meeting of many civilizations. Because of its exceptional location as a gateway between the East and the West, the conquest of Istanbul was significant not only from a military point of view, but also from a wider perspective. A new era that heralded the fall of Byzantine control and the establishment of the Ottoman Empire began as Mehmed II's army broke through the old walls. This conquest was more than just a change in territory. It also sparked new commercial lines, cross-cultural interactions, and geopolitical alliance. By dissecting the historical events layers, we are able to piece together a story of aspiration, cunning, and fortitude. The reasons for Mehmed II's bold expedition and the tactics used during the siege of Constantinople shed light on the intricate workings of medieval geopolitics. The narrative surrounding the conquest of Istanbul extends beyond its immediate historical setting and truly examines the connections between civilizations. We obtain a greater grasp of how the ebb and flow of power affected national destiny and created the contours of modern world as we delve into the motivations and effects of this crucial event. We will go through the halls of history in the pages that follow, attempting to compare the significance of the conquest of Istanbul and its continuing influence on the complex fabric of human society. They found the Turks coming right up under the walls and seeking battle, particularly the Janissaries, who are soldiers of the Turkish Sultan. None of them are afraid of death, but they came on like wild beasts. And when one or two of them were killed, at once more Turks came and took away the dead ones, carrying them on their shoulders as one would a pig, without caring how near they came to the city walls. None fearing death, but being willing to let 10 of themselves be killed rather than suffer the shame of leaving a single Turkish corpse by the walls, says Nicola Barbaro, a surgeon who witnessed the conquest day by day from the side of Byzantium. The siege of Istanbul included the strongest cannonballs that were ever made until that day, and they were used for continuous bombardment that pounded the city walls, creating breaches. These cannons, which punched holes in the walls that no one had even thought would collapse, also destroyed a perception that lasted for hundreds of years. The feudal system hidden behind the walls could now be destroyed. The tunneling tactic was also an efficient war tactic used by Ottomans for the purpose of undermining the walls by digging secret tunnels underneath the wall. This led Byzantium to engage in subterranean war. It caused greater fear in the city because it was thought that the Turks might make an attack any night by way of their mines, although in this occasion they were discomfited. Even though this mining tactic backfired for the Ottoman side, it was still an efficient tactic in terms of creating fear in the opposing side. This siege also shows the importance of the fact that war is won not only with weapons on the battlefield, but also with planning and observation. Fortress construction is an example of this. If all the Christians in Constantinople had wished to build anything on such a scale, They could not have done it in a month, but these did it in a single night. At once the emperor came to see it, they were like men struck dead for fear, and as a result, they were continually afraid that this tower might cause the city to be lost because overtopped the Barbicans, says Barbaro. But the most important key moment, under precedent in any other siege or war, was Sultan Mehmet's tactical ability to transport the ships over land. Overnight, the Ottomans drained their ships out of water. They rolled the ships on wooden logs over Galata, using immense manual labor. The ships were re-entered the Sea of Golden Horn after they had crossed Galata. In this way, they transported 60 ships into the Golden Horn, passing the blockade built by Byzantium. This helped the Ottomans a lot, because it blocked the 8 roads to Byzantium, leaving them on their own by cutting the flow of additional resources. The question is, why did the Turks want Istanbul so badly? What was the reason behind this interminable desire that was going on for decades? Firstly, Istanbul was a major center for the Orthodox Church, the second largest brand of Christianity. To maintain financial and spiritual dominance, the conquering empire needed to replace this church and elevate Istanbul to a greater religious center, which is Islam according to their belief. Conquering will serve to validate Islam's victory and dominance over Christianity. It will be a greater honor to do what the Prophet Muhammad commanded them. Secondly, fighting for Muslims, also known as Gaza and Jihad, was crucial for Ottoman sultans. Fighting and succeeding against the greater non-believers would be an important legitimacy of the greatness of Ottoman military forces all around the world. In comparison to other Muslim kingdoms in the Islamic world, it was only the Ottomans who rose in the 15th century by their success. Lastly, Istanbul was in a location that caused the Ottoman lands to be divided into two. It had to be won from a geopolitical perspective because only in this way could territorial integrity be achieved. In conclusion, the conquest of Istanbul was so crucial that led historians to say that an era is closed and another new one is opened. Istanbul, which was the most popular castle of Byzantium for centuries, led to a redistribution of cards in politics with the conquest.